What is going on, guys? My name's Abyss, and the beta just ended basically, and it's pretty much hype for everybody, and it's kind of crazy. And I'm hoping that everybody else enjoyed it as much as I did, because I thought that it was kind of insane, and I was wishing I could play the game for another whole week so that I could get more guns unlocked and progress further. And even though I hit level 35 and I was pretty much maxed through it all, this video is going to basically be about the greater parts of the game, basically my whole opinion of the game, just the good and the bad, and kind of my mixed opinions through it all, because I was kind of not expecting to be impressed with this game, but I actually was pretty impressed with it throughout the entire thing. I was not looking forward to having a game that was boots on the ground, basically. I was not looking forward to a boots on the ground game, specifically this World War II game. I didn't think that there'd be enough weapons. Then I had done more research on World War II, and I'd basically searched more into what was going on, and I had kind of more leaned into it. And now that I've played the game, I'm kind of way more for this game than I was ever before. And so another thing is, I was aware that this was a beta, so I'm going to try and kind of separate my beta opinions from the core content of the game opinions, and I kind of just want to not be mentioning kind of things that are wrong with the game that can be fixed because there was a beta. And of course the entire game is going to be different in 1 or 2 months after the game comes out anyway, because they're going to fix, change, and rewrite, redo pretty much everything. So without further ado, let's pretty much get into it. So the first part is going to be the good parts of World War II. First thing is the graphics. I thought that the graphics were pretty amazing, immaculate. I thought that looking at everything, I could just sit here and look at the game. I thought that they worked very hard in the writing and worked very hard on writing out basically the design of all the little small parts of the map, including the fire on the ground, the grass on the ground, looking into the sky, the ships, the freaking planes, everything that you look at everywhere feels very interactive, and the game feels very realistic, because actually the second part I was going to go into. I actually, at one point in time of the game, I was AFK, and I had just been standing there, and when I came back, because I don't think that they had the ability for you to get kicked from the game, I don't know, I don't think I was gone long enough, but I was never kicked for an activity. But while I was standing there, a guy was kind of messing with me in my face and all, and he had set a grenade off right in front of him, and when I got the controller in my hand, he had been blown up because he blew himself up, and I was looking at his body on the ground, and his body was screaming there, holding his leg because his leg got blown off. And I was like, oh my goodness, dude. Like, I just thought that was like the most insane thing to be coming from a Call of Duty, because I had seen, like, in Black Ops 3, if you got blown up, your legs and some of your limbs got torn off. The nanobots would kind of eat you alive. That was another thing that was kind of brutal. But like this is kind of like on not a whole new level, but kind of on a whole new level of violence, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. I feel like the game has balanced tactical gameplay and rushing gameplay very well. It's not like too huge on the amount of things that are going on all of the time. Why? Because of how they've set the spawns up, and I guess that also depends on what game mode you're playing, but I think that that's been very well balanced between the people that are going to be rushing for a game and the people that are going to be kind of thinking smarter and planning out their moves more tactically. So I enjoy that, because it's kind of like the people that are rushing don't have to argue with the people that are playing tactical a lot, because they're both kind of going to be using both playstyles. I enjoyed how this game seems very focused on skill. I don't see a reason why Call of Duty has ever made the game easier. For what I always hear from the community is that the game is basically too easy, and I think that Call of Duty needs to be more difficult, and this Call of Duty is more difficult. The accuracy that you need to hit feels like you can miss all your shots and lose a gunfight, while somebody that's also shooting at you, you can also sense the fact that they're missing their shots, and you can turn around and kill somebody if you're a better player. It kind of rewards you for being a better player. This game is not like Battlefield 1. The only things that could be similar at all to Battlefield 1, which I'm going to answer right now, are that there are guns that were used in World War I in World War II. That is pretty much the only similarity, unless you want to be like, yeah, grenades in World War I, so it's definitely like, you know, it's going to be a copy of Battlefield because the grenades were in both games. That's pretty much how similar they are. They're not similar at all. The game is not going to have, you know, stupidly huge maps, even though, like, basically, I can't say that they're not huge. Alright, so War is one huge map, but it's sectioned up and put into pieces to where you're only playing a small portion of the map each time. But if you're talking like game modes, like traditional Call of Duty game modes, the maps aren't going to be big at all. They're going to be traditional Call of Duty size. Other than some of, like, I guess the spawn areas, but I'll talk about that later. I think the maps are very easy to use, or to play through. I think they're very easy to understand, and they're very simple. The game is all around simple and easy to pick up, but hard to play. Something I personally like is that the ASM-1 is back as a viable gun to use. Advanced Warfare being one of my favorite Call of Duties, my favorite gun was the ASM-1, and it's because it was a Tommy gun. And I always thought that was the craziest thing, and when I picked up the M19 when they added it to the game, I was just fascinated. And then when I unlocked it, I was amazed, and I'm glad that they didn't kind of do the people that played and liked the ASM-1 from Advanced Warfare wrong, because although it feels different, I'll tell you how it kind of differs from the ASM-1 from Advanced Warfare. The gun has a high fire rate still, but it has the kick it probably should have deserved in Advanced Warfare. The recoil is much higher, and I actually think that it probably has more damage. But its time to kill is still very fast, and I still felt like it was a top tier gun. I loved to slay with that gun, and it was very fun to use. The snipers in this game, I can say that sniping can be returning. Snipers are going to be definitely something that, even if annoying, they're going to be dominating throughout the game. I can say that a sniper is so good in this game that you could use it just as a rushing player if you wanted to. You could switch to a sniper because of the way they spawn on this game. You could slay an entire team, and then when they spawn back, you switch to your sniper and go out that way if you wanted to. I just think that snipers are very usable in this game and simple to pick up. As long as you're good with a sniper, then they're easy to use. Gunfights are very accurate heavy. If you're very bad at the game, then you're not going to win your gunfights. As simple as that. I don't feel like it's anywhere where I'm getting killed by somebody that's bad at the game. I mean, there are some points in time where I just look at the kill cam and I'm just like, he didn't hit me at all. Like, I did have an issue in the beginning when I was playing this game where I felt like the hitboxes that I was, like, my hitbox that I had was smaller than, or bigger than other people's hitboxes. Like, people were just shooting the air and I was dying, and I was pretty upset about that. I had a similar problem actually with the sniper rifles. I was getting killed by sniper rifles from a long range. I don't know how that works, but I feel like your hitbox should stay the same, but it felt like they were hitting nothing or nowhere near where I was at with a sniper when they were extremely far away. When they got like closer to a quick scoping range in my face, they definitely had to hit what felt like the exact points on my body, but at a longer range I kept noticing that they were hitting me, they weren't hitting my body. They were hitting a little air zone around my body, which clearly is a hitbox. So I don't know, I had problems with that. But otherwise, I liked how the accuracy worked on this game. the diving feature that's kind of like you're just dropping to the ground is it looks really silly, to be honest. Like, if you were to look at the game, or if you were to be standing behind somebody that's doing the dive feature in this game, you would ask them and question mark them like, what are you doing? But while you're using this little feature, like this ability to drop, I swear that it is so easy to maneuver your like body around, and it's so useful because dive bombs are falling everywhere. It's actually becoming more of a habit. By the end of the game, it had become a habit for me to just dive to the ground because I kept getting glide bombed all the time, and through certain maps they have that same glide bomb sound, and you just drop to the ground. You don't even really think about what's going on. I think it's very interactive, and I liked it. But I don't know, I felt like some of it was unfair because there was points in time where I knew that somebody was missing shots on me from behind, and I would just turn a little bit, dive, bomb, and I would win it and kill like 2 or 3 people because they couldn't kill me in the air, and you were dropping so quickly. It was like a better, or a different version of drop shotting, I could say, because drop shotting just proning to the ground is not as fast. Definitely not as fast as dive bombing. Like, I guarantee that. And guys, I'm not trying to make this video like 30 minutes long, otherwise I'd have an even longer list of things because I really liked a bunch of things about this game. I'm gonna go ahead and move to the things I didn't really like about the game, things that may be bad about the game. Alright, so bad things, the things I did not like about World War II. First thing I'm going to be talking about is that the division weapon crossovers, in the infantry, when you unlock this ability, which the ability is to use 3, you can unlock a 3rd primary attachment for your primary weapon. You can do that with any weapon in the game, but you cannot put a suppressor, which is the airborne ability, on at least ARs, and I would prefer it on some snipers as well. But you can cross over the airborne suppressor, which is so annoying, and it's unfair. I'm hoping it gets changed. Really, I'm just hoping that gets changed. That's a huge thing to me, and I don't like that. The game mode domination does not have a ring outline, so you can't really see where you are able to step in and out of the area where you're supposed to step in, which it makes you very vulnerable, because then you're standing wherever and you're hoping to still get points. But if I sneak up on this team that has no idea where they should go for cover, then it makes it really easy for me to just wipe an entire team capping a flag. So that's one thing I didn't really like. I didn't like how the score streaks felt very weak. The recon plane, which is basically a UAV, is easy to destroy and hard to get, which is dumb. I think that some of the score streaks are just pointlessly difficult, like the fighter pilot. I probably got, like 7 kills with it for the amount of times I got it. And it was just terrible trying to aim that thing. Maybe I'm the potato here. I have the potato accuracy, but I can't figure out how to use the thing. And it was annoying using it, so I just stopped using it. I think that it needed way more aim assist. I think I needed to shoot it for longer, and I wish there was more than one run. Like, if I had the ability to see where everybody was at, like a better strafing run, like, I love the bombing runs in Advanced Warfare because I didn't have to use it. But if I happen to have to sit here and use a strafe run myself, then I'd like to have it to where it was either the plane is going slower, or I have more aim assist, or something's going down, because it's just ridiculously hard to use. Like, it's ridiculous. At random points in time, which it could be a beta thing, I'm trying not to emphasize on the beta problems, but my frame rate would drop to like 10 frames per second. I was lagging, like, it wasn't lag, it was just a frame rate issue, and it was just not fun, and I'm hoping that they'll fix it. Otherwise, you're just gonna have to leave the game. Otherwise, you're gonna just stack up deaths the entire game, because you're basically a moving free kill, like an AFK free kill. It's ridiculous. You can't kill anybody at all, and I want that to be fixed. Grenades in this game stun. It feels like grenades in this game stun both enemy and ally. If you don't die by it, or if an ally throws a grenade at you, it not only darkens your screen, it like paints this weird smoky fog, and then it makes it harder for you to move your character, it makes it harder for you to aim. And I understand, I guess that's realistic. If a grenade were to blow up right beside me and didn't kill me, I'm probably going to be stunned, but it's still a video game in Call of Duty, and I think that it needs to just disappear. I just need to be shaken up a bit, and especially for the ally grenades, I just need to be shaken up a bit and not die, because it's like a stun grenade. It kind of not removes the point of a stun grenade, but it makes grenades so much stronger, and they are already so strong, which I didn't have a problem with. I just had a problem with me getting stunned by grenades. If I'm going to be killed by a grenade anyway, if I'm like in that little red range, because if you're in the black range, you get to live with the grenade and you don't take any damage. If you're in the red, you're pretty much going to die, guaranteed. Let's see, the next thing is that when I unlock a gun in the menu, it doesn't select it, and twice or 3 or 4 times really, I would unlock a gun because I guess it's a memory thing. I would unlock a gun and be used to it just being selected, and it's an opinion. I can get used to it. It's just an opinion. I don't like it. If I unlock the gun, it should be selected. I'm not going down a whole list of guns I'm unlocking. The whole purpose of me unlocking the gun is on the loadout I'm on, or division, or whatever you want to call it, is so that I can use the gun, and I don't like that. It's just dumb to me. I think they need to, in the main menu, they need a clearer UI. The whole main menu feels like something new to every type of Call of Duty player. Everybody's super confused about where they need to go. Something I will say is that where you're switching from finding a game to the divisions, I don't know if many people are aware of this. People are mad because you have to press RB or R1 if you're a PlayStation or Xbox player, or LB or L1, but you can actually use your D-pad. So I'm hoping I can actually educate people on that. You don't have to use those buttons, you can use your D-pad, and it'll also switch over to each category. So that's something. When it comes to the next thing I want to talk about is the amount of head glitches that are on the maps, specifically Aachen, and I just think that it's just head glitch valley, and every gunfight you're getting into is most likely going to be off of somebody on a higher level than you, or somebody on a higher head glitch than you, which is kind of so annoying, and it's dumb, and it's one of the things you already hate about Call of Duty, is that somebody is peeking their head over, and it's really hard to kill somebody with their head peeked over, because they can see your full body, and you can only see their head, and it's something dumb. For a personal opinion of mine, I don't like limited attachments. It's why one of the things I hate about Modern Warfare Remastered or Modern Warfare is that I have like 2 attachments and it's not enough. I like having like 6 attachments in my Black Ops 3. I like having 4 or 3 attachments. In my Advanced Warfare, I just need it. I just need my attachments. I like my super gun, my super freaking modified super gun. That's what I need. I need my gun to look like, even if it's in even if it's in World War II, I could be like the legendary super soldier in World War II, right? I can't do that. No, that's fine. Even if I can't do that, then it still didn't tear up the game for me, because I only had that limited amount of attachments, which is something I don't like about the game. It's just my opinion. It doesn't make the game terrible. I still loved it. I still enjoyed playing the game. I just don't like that. I need a ready up perk. I need my sprint out time to be fast, and they have such a slow one. It's one of the huge debuffs on rusher players that separates a huge part of rushing and playing tactical, is that you're having to either ADS around a corner or not be aimed down sight, but you can't run around corners as often. You're pretty much going to die every time, because the sprinting out time is terribly slow. It's just not viable, and quick draw doesn't help it pretty much at all. Quick draw is very useful if you're not sprinting, but it's not very useful if you are sprinting. Gunslinger is not ready up. Something I kept hearing is that there was in the beta a ready up perk for the basic training, and there was not. I'm hoping that was not all of the basic training perks. I'm hoping that pool will actually, and when the full game comes out, it will be much bigger, and that they'll have a ready up perk, because I need my ready up perks. It's just something that I feel like I need. Alright, the third and final category, or I guess chapter of this, is my mixed emotions on the game. So, something I have mixed emotions on the game about is play of the game. Play of the game is pretty much a domination, a team deathmatch, almost any game mode that's not war. It's the player that's probably much the most valuable player in the game and got the best clip. The best way I can describe this is that in Overwatch, they have play of the game. So the player that did the most useful thing in the game, or the coolest thing in the game, has the final kill cam in the game, which I guess on the good side of things, it's cool when I get it, but on the bad side of things, if I win the game and the enemy got it, I'm like, this is stupid. Like, I did good, I should have gotten it. I always feel like I should get it. I guess my mixed emotions about the entire menu is that it needs to be done better. It's a little bit confusing for new, not for new players, I guess. For any Call of Duty player that's ever played Call of Duty before. Like, any Call of Duty you've ever played, you just scroll down when you've ended the game. Like, it's literally written in our memory, in our muscle memory. You scroll down or press down on the D-pad and you're at your create a class. Right, so it's a little bit confusing for us. And the new spawn system is also something I have mixed emotions about, specifically in Team Deathmatch. It is very hard to spawn trap, but it's kind of like how Team Deathmatch works now is that you're moving up or you're being pushed back. It's like a consistent push. The only way you can get the spawns to flip is if you push all the way to the back of their spawn, and I actually feel like when you're at the back of their spawn, like right before you're at the back of their spawn, it's like a final stand between your team and between their team, because they now have, in pretty much most of the maps, they have like these towers there or like posts where you can actually just take out players because they're put wide, like really wide out in the open, because the back part of each spawn kind of stretches out further back so that you can actually take a stand and a last stand against enemy players and kind of keep your side of the spawns. So that's something I thought it's cool, but it's also annoying, because I walk out, by the time I get to the enemy spawn, I'm going to walk out. If I walk out, I'm going to die. It's guaranteed, it's going to happen. It's annoying. So these are pretty much my mixed emotions. If I were to rate the game, I'd say, I can't say 10 out of 10, because I'd say it's a perfect game. There's pretty much no perfect Call of Duty. There will not be a perfect Call of Duty. I mean, there might be, but this won't be. I can't say like a 9 out of 10, because there are definitely a lot of things that need to be fixed and changed. I'd really give it like a 7 out of 10, because even though I don't want to include my opinion, I was looking forward to a 3D dimensional movement system Call of Duty, unfortunately. And even though that's just my opinion, it's something I'm sad about, but I don't want to completely take it out on the game, so I'd say a 7.5, because the game is actually really good and it's really fun. And I encourage people and all my friends that like three-dimensional movement video games and three-dimensional movement Call of Duty to play this game, because it still has that high, intense feeling that you can get from playing those three-dimensional games. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you liked it, like it, and I'll catch you guys later.